What's going on YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin. We're also going to go through a few altcoins. I'm looking at most likely ETH, Link, Bitcoin Cash, and Theta. Those are the ones I'm going to have time to get into today. But first of all, what I want to talk about was what you need to do is be prepared. Markets, cryptocurrency, around election time, when a lot of things are going on in the world, they can get extremely volatile. So what I want you to do, guys, is really focus on those stop losses, really focus on your risk to reward management. Don't, over leverage yourself, do anything crazy like I've talked about before. I think the best trading in this space that I like to do is spot altcoin trading. I think that's the safest. I don't like to get into leverage. Sometimes for me, even Bitcoin will be a little too slow. That's why I like to play those altcoins, because they'll run a little bit harder and they'll also retrace a little bit harder than Bitcoin. And that's something that I'm into. I really like trading and playing those spot altcoins. That's what I like to do. I don't want to use any leverage in this space. And the reason I don't want to use leverage in this space, take a look at these wicks, guys. And just as I get a little bit of time here to go down through, you can have wicks of 7, 8, 9% at some points, and then the price reverses on you. And that's typically what happens when you're in those leverage positions. People over leverage themselves, and then you end up getting caught on a wick. You lose all your money, and then the price just continues to go in the direction that you were thinking. So I would not do leverage in this space, just to be smart. Really trade those spot altcoins, and you can really do well in this. So that's my opinion on that. Also, guys, we're going to get into Bitcoin here. This is going to be on the 12-hour time frame to start out. We may bounce around a little bit. I'll tell you when I change the time frames, but I wanted to put that out there for you so we can get a little bit better look here, as we've just really been moving sideways for the last week or so. All right, so if you get something from this, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's dig into this. So this is Bitcoin on the 12-hour time frame. One of the main things I was looking at was this longer wick up here, and it took place at $11,500. That's a key overhead resistance that we're going to need to get up through. Now, even on the 12-hour time frame, we're still up above all our important moving averages, our 20, our 50, our 100, and our 200. We're still up above them all. We broke out of our symmetrical triangle to the upside on some heavier volume. The main thing we're looking to do now is to hold as support $11,162. This was a previous area of resistance that we have broken through. We want that resistance to support flip. So we want this to become support. You can actually see our volatility stop is right below that, and that's this trading view calculating that for us, and that is at $11,112. So basically what they're saying with this volatility stop is that if we do start breaking down through this 11,158 area, which was previous resistance, and we don't turn into support, most likely we're going to go back a little bit lower and try to find support at an area like that 10,786, and then be down around that 200 moving average on the 12-hour time frame at 10,630. What we're also dealing with is a little bit of RSI pressure to the downside here. We're sitting at 55 right now. Remember this on the 12-hour time frame. I want to bounce out to the 1 day and take a look at this. So if we end up closing where we're at today, this would be a bearish engulfing candle. So that's something that we do want to pay attention to. RSI moving to the downside right now. We've put in lower highs. Volume, though, has not been crazy. So we haven't had heavy selling volume up at the top here to that 11,500. We more so have just been moving sideways, patiently waiting to see if we're going to find support off this critical area of 11,158. If we get into the technicals, for Bitcoin, we are still throwing a buy signal on the 1 day. We have a 3 sell, 10 neutral, 15 buy oscillator, 0 sell, 9 neutral, and a 2 buy. Moving average is looking strong there. So what we're looking for is just that continuation to get up over top of $11,500. Then it could be up around that $11,932. But we may have some more time consolidating, moving sideways, maybe even cooling down a little bit. But these are the main areas that I'd be looking at. That 11,158 and then 10,789 are going to be the support areas that I'm looking at for today. So we'll just see if we can get that moving. So that's going to be Bitcoin. The next one we're going to get into is Ethereum. If you're here for ETH, let me know down low. Leave it in the comments section. Let me know what you've been doing. Are you accumulating during this time? Are you buying? Have you been selling? Have you been trading? I'd love to know your guys' opinion. So Ethereum on the 1 day time frame is what we're on right now. We are still up above our 20, our 50, our 100, our 200 moving average. So we're looking good there, but we've really just been consolidating sideways. We're in this equilibrium pattern. The overhead resistance we want to break up through is $378, then be up to around $396. Going to be the overhead resistance targets. In terms of support, if we do end up breaking lower, we want to look to that 100 moving average at $344 as support, then be down that original area of support at 332 we've been looking at for quite a long time now. RSI is at 50, so I mean, we really could go either way at this point in this equilibrium. We have plenty of room to run to the upside, where we could even go up and test that $500, but we also have plenty of room to run to the downside being at 50. You know, a lot of things could happen here. Excuse me, with the RSI at 50, you know, a big dump down, that could put us down to around that 200 moving average, and that could be at $302, worst case scenario there for Ethereum. Then most likely people would be stepping in that area. But right now we're sitting at $366. We're in an equilibrium pattern, consolidating, moving sideways, patiently waiting for the market movers to make their next move. Overall summary: 7 sell, 10 neutral, 11 buy, oscillators 1 sell, 9 neutral, and a 1 buy. So a little bit weaker than what Bitcoin's dealing with for Ethereum right now. So let's keep an eye on those areas, guys. That's going to be ETH. Next, we're going to move into Link. And I wanted to talk about Link for a second. This is a position I'm still playing as well. We got in around that 200 moving average, and what we're trying to do is change the trend. It's all about the trend. See here, lower highs and lower lows that were coming in. And now what we got was that nice push up. We got a higher low. We got slightly a higher high. Now what we're trying to do is set that higher low. So our volatility stop right now is at $9.25. The area of support that I would really like to hold would be that 200 moving average, and that's roughly going to be around that 839. We don't want to drop below that. Oftentimes when you drop below that, you start getting trapped below that. Then things can get really ugly here, but we're trying to change this trend. See how that works? And then set a higher low, then a higher high. And then we would see if we can get up to around that 1277. But right now we just have to be patient. We do have some selling volume, but it's below average right here. We're just patiently waiting for the market maker to make their next move. We're at 51 on the RSI right now, just really trying to change that trend. That's what's most important. We want to see if we can find that support where we're at today. In terms of the technicals, 8 sell, 8 neutral, 12 buy, oscillators 2 sell, 7 neutral, and a 2 buy. Moving average is 6 sell, 1 neutral, and a 10 buy for Link. So this is something that I'm going to continue to let keep going in the position that I'm in. I was accumulating around that $8 and, you know, like 60 cents, 40 cents, right in that range. And I was just trying to accumulate so that we can play this next uptrend that we potentially could be getting in here. So that's what I'm doing. I got a break even stop, guys, and that's just what I like to do. That's how I like to trade this market. Sometimes ladder into fear, ladder out into greed. That's what I like to do. So that's going to be Link. If you're here for that, let me know down low. Next, we're going to move into Bitcoin Cash. It's one that runs really hard. I know people hate on Bitcoin Cash, but if for a trader, you know, it can really move hard, fast, and aggressively. We have continued to hold $202, and that's roughly been since March 19th, 2020. Since then, we've just really been in this range, moving sideways. We've made some nice moves. The high that we got up to was around $338. What we're trying to get up to next, turn this red here, this is going to be overhead resistance at $270. Right now, though, on the one-day time frame, this would be a bearish engulfing candle, and it's coming on above average volume right now. So we want to be careful of that. We want to pay attention to that, and we want to continue to hold excuse me, guys, hold up above this 200 moving average at, or I'm sorry, get up above that 200 moving average at $252 is going to be the area there. Let's see if we can hold that and continue to stay up above that. If not, I'm going to look down to some of these lower areas. Our volatility stop is at $238 right now. But overall, we don't want to lose this 202. That's the range we've really been working in for quite a while. And if you zoom out for Bitcoin Cash, guys, really look how far and aggressively we've dropped. And then this area is what I believe is accumulation zone and just building until we eventually start getting those nice impulse waves to the upside on some heavier volume like we had here before we had that big major dump. The RSI is at 60 right now. We are starting to move a little bit to the downside here like we talked about on heavier volume. So we just want to look down to some of these lower areas, see if we can find support. And I would look at roughly about 240. Also hold that around $240 would be important. So if we get into the technicals, we have a 7 sell, 7 neutral, 14 buy, oscillators 2 sell, 6 neutral, and a 3 buy. Moving average is 5 sell, 1 neutral, and an 11 buy there. But when this does run, guys, it runs really hard. I mean, you can see this last little run that we had there was about 53%. That's huge. Most major markets don't move 20% in a year. So we got to remember that as we're in this space. So that's Bitcoin Cash. You let me cover that, guys. Let me know down low so I know if people are here for that as well. It's one I like to trade. And then we'll get into Theta. Take a look at Theta. Theta, one of the main things I was warning people about were these horn tops up here. And since then, we have just been getting pushed to the downside. So I was hoping people were taking some profit up there. You know, this isn't financial advice. I just like to warn people. And since that area, since those tops, we have ended up retracing about 16%. So these are the things I like to look for. Look at this long wick here. Then we had a nice retracement. Wicks at support and resistance can really help you out, and that's just a little secret there. But overall, our volatility stops at 63 cents right now. We are at 68 cents. What Theta needs to do is find support in the area that we're at right now. We almost have like a rickshaw doji taking place, a lot of fight between the bulls and the bears. Volume's very low right now, so not a ton of interest. I think more people are probably waiting for more of a retracement like I was. I was looking at this 59-cent area, and then I would look down to this 100 moving average at about 51 cents for me to really want to jump in and maybe play one of those reactive positions. That's why I like to play it. RSI being at 50 right now, plenty of room to go either way. We really could retrace a little bit deeper, depending on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin starts moving, then most likely Theta is going to start getting a nice kick to the upside here, regardless of what's happening on the chart. That's just how this rolls. Or if Ethereum gets moving. But right now, I would be cautious, a little more cautious if I was in a position for Theta right now, just given this may have marked our top, and we may have to cool down a little bit more before we get that next move to the upside here. If we take a look at our technicals, you can see this is behind some others: 12 sell, 9 neutral, 7 buy, oscillators, 3 sell, 8 neutral, and a 0 buy. And I think all this is about just being patient right now, guys. We need to be patient. We need to wait for the whales to make this next move, and we'll see where it takes this market. So God bless. Be prepared. Be ready. Take care.